Yeah, I'm back in Salvador, but it was only for 5 days. I'm now in the city I plan to stay in for a few weeks. My time in Brazil is winding down. I like Brazil and discovering new cities within the country, but also I like traveling to other continents. And I see in order to increase followers, if you produce travel content, you have to travel the world. In each country you travel to, you gain new subscribers of that country and to those who wish to travel to that country and those who have lived in that country. But for now, I'm going to try to open this door for those who have visited Brazil before and you rented an apartment and you have seen this type of key. I'm pretty sure you understand my struggles.
Oh, fuck. Stupid shit. Come on, man. What the fuck?
Eventually, I'll find the secret angle, but it took a while, as you see. I would have reserved the apartment I had prior when I was here in Salvador, Bahia, but it was not available. So at the last minute, I saw this apartment, and it's right next to a grocery store, so I reserved this one, and it was not a good choice. Now, this lock situation is very minor to the real big situation that you'll see later on throughout this video, but I don't see why they won't just change this lock. This is an old type of Brazilian lock. When I first came to Brazil and rented apartments, these are the type of locks that I encountered, and they are kind of difficult to get into. It will take some time, especially if you're not used to this type of key.
Oh. Shit. Motherfucker.
It seems like it's situation after situation. First it was the key, then it was the biggest situation that you'll see later on in this video, and now it is the rain. But I'm not going to let this rain stop me, and it shouldn't stop you also, because in December it's worse than this. November is not so bad, but December in Salvador Bahia, expect a lot of rain. So make sure you bring a mini umbrella like I did, or just buy one while you're here, because it is going to rain. But it's not going to stop my fun, and it shouldn't stop yours. You can plan around it or just bring an umbrella, simple as that. But if you do watch the local news, if you choose to come in December, you'll see a lot of tragedies also, especially for people that live in favelas and hills, because there will be lots of landslides and people losing their houses or even losing their lives.
Destruídos pela chuva. Alguns moradores puderam voltar para casa e limpar toda a sujeira, mas ainda não dá para ficar.
Aqui, ó. Aqui, ó.
Tudo isso aqui saiu da sua casa?
Aqui, ó. Perde tudo aqui. Não tem televisão, não tem nada.
Na região da Bananeira, em Itabuna, a água chegou a mais de 1,80 m de altura. A casa de Carlos Alberto ficou assim, com móveis, roupas e eletrodomésticos, todos espalhados. A cozinha ficou totalmente destruída. Só sobraram armários.
But for now, what we're going to do is do my usual, which is shop for food. So I did make sure that this apartment is near the beach, walking distance, and right across the street, as you saw, is this grocery store. So we're going to shop for foods for 5 days. For the most part, Brazilian grocery stores offer organic, natural foods, but in the past years, I have noticed some changes. And one of the big changes is that Monsanto, the pesticide company, is here in Brazil. So farmers are using these chemicals due to the extra money they receive from this company on certain crops. And lots of these crops are corn and soybeans. Brazil has a large population, and with a large population, people have to eat. So to maintain the produce, what farmers do is use these pesticides to avoid loss of crops due to insects. But at the same time, people's health is at jeopardy. So I try to avoid eating corn and soybeans, but sometimes you will get tricked because soybeans is in everything, And also, this is how it is in the US. Lots of products have soybeans or soybean oil. It's the same thing. Pesticides are being used on that. And I got tricked here in Brazil, in Salvador, Bahia. I bought some sardines, which you will see, that was in soybean oil. Now, lots of big population countries use lots of pesticides and food colorings just to appease to the people because there's so many people in that country and to save money. Some of those countries are the US, now it's Brazil, of course, it's always been China. I'm pretty sure Russia has some type of pesticides they use too because they have a large population as well. But any country with a large population, they use pesticides. Oh, I forgot also India, they use pesticides also. You have these large population countries, you have to appease to the people and farmers. They want to get paid, they want to get money. So in order to not lose money, they use these pesticides. And what you're seeing right here is peanut butter. I was surprised to see this here in this grocery store. Peanut butter usually have two ingredients, and if you look at the ingredient list, it's lots of ingredients in this peanut butter. So I will not buy this. And most people in Brazil, for the most part, peanut butter is like the plague. They don't like peanut butter. So I was surprised to see peanut butter in this grocery store. Now, here is the sardines I bought. I was trying to look for sardines in water. I could not find that. So I picked up these sardines, not noticing until I got to the apartment that soybean oil was listed. So you got to be careful about that. Also, if you're in the US, I'm pretty sure you will see lots of sardines also in soybean oil also. If you can avoid that, get some that are in olive oil or water. So just keep that in mind when you're buying anything that's packaged in any type of oil. Make sure that that oil is olive oil, and most likely the olive oil is imported from Italy. And we know in Italy, olive oil is a part of their culture. So they're not going to have any type of pesticides or any unnatural ingredients in their olive oil because it's a part of their culture. Also, Italy is in Europe, and Europe has their own health system. They do not have the FDA, which is Food Drug Administration. They have their own European system, which is more healthier for their citizens than what we use in the US and what they use in Brazil also. So just keep that in mind. You do not want to get soybean oil. You do not want to use peanut oil. And I'm pretty sure some of the restaurants that we go to, not just in Brazil, but in the US also, they use the cheapest type of oils available. That's why I cook my own foods. And some of these cheap oils are vegetable oil, peanut oil, and soybean oil. So try to avoid those three if you can. What we do have in the US that I do not see in Brazil is we also have avocado oil. That would be probably my second best oil I would use, especially when I'm cooking at high heat. I would use avocado oil. So I finally figured out how to maneuver the key in the keyhole. It's all in the wrist. But here are some of the foods I bought at the grocery store. I got some habanero peppers, and here are the sardines that I got by mistake. And yes, the rain continues. It did not stop. Out of 5 days, I had about 2 good solid days of no rain. What people will notice their first time visiting Brazil, especially if you rent an apartment or visit someone, is this right here, which is gas. So this is how they cook their meals. If you get an apartment and you don't see this, maybe because they have a hot plate, which is electric, but this place has gas. And do not be alarmed or scared like I was my first time visiting Brazil, because this is just part of their culture of how they cook. Either they use gas or they use a hot plate, which is electric. Now, let's get into why this is one of the worst places I rented in Brazil. And the reason is when I first came to this apartment, When I walked in, I noticed that the AC was already on. So that was an indication that someone had cleaned the place and turned the AC on for their guests, which is me, because it is so hot. But what I noticed is that the AC was blowing out hot air. So it's broken. And I'm pretty sure that the maid that cleaned this place, he or she knows that the AC was broke. So out of 5 days, I was stuck with no AC or fan for one whole day, and eventually for the 4 days remaining I was giving a fan. But all of this was false advertisement. The owner knew that the AC did not work, but he still chose to advertise this apartment in booking.com as having AC. And I'm so happy that I've only stayed here for 5 days, because if it would have been more, it would have been a problem. Now, what you're seeing now is my electric travel converter that I use when I travel. So if I have any appliances that I need to use, I can just plug it into here, not causing my appliances, which is my hair clippers, to fry. So you might want to get one of these on Amazon.com. It's no more than like $32, $35, so it's very cheap and useful within your travels around the world. These are the things that happen when you rent an apartment, not just in Brazil, but any place in the world. And that is that you never know what you got until you finally arrive to see for yourself. It doesn't matter the reviews of the place, the pictures you see, or even the description of what the owner writes about the apartment. It doesn't matter until you finally arrive to witness for yourself. Now, with this particular apartment, the owner did tell me in a message on booking.com that he's not going to be available to give me the key. Therefore, he gave the key to the security guard. Now, each apartment in Brazil most likely has a security guard. So I did get the key, and once I entered the apartment and went to the bedroom, the first thing I noticed is that it was hot. So the AC was blowing out hot air. And I did send a message, and it took him some time to send someone to the apartment to check and verify that the AC was broken. Now, he did not give me a time of when someone's going to come and check out the apartment and look at this AC. Therefore, I was just sitting there waiting. So all of this is just bad business. But I'm going to leave this behind, because the place I am in now is a place that I intended to visit, and I will stay for a few weeks. Now, the back of this sardine can does says soja, which is soybean oil. And again, I did not notice this until I arrived in the apartment and flipped it back over and looked at the wording again. So be aware of that, or be aware of this brand of not to use, because there are brands in Brazil that the sardines are in water or olive oil. Those are the ones you want to get. So let's take a look at this bedroom. There's no headboard, which is okay. And there's a dirty mattress behind the bed. I don't know why this is here. This should have been tucking out. This is all bad business. Dirty mattress, no AC, lack of communication. The only good things about this apartment is the beach I can walk to and the grocery store I can walk to. Other than that, everything was bad about this apartment. So here comes the maid who's doing all the leg work for the owner. She's the one who brought me the fan, and she's the one who also checked the AC to make sure that it wasn't working.
Seguiu o técnico. Ele vai vir 2h30.
2h30?
É.
Ok.
Você vai ficar aqui aguardando? E se você quiser sair e voltar, eu vou ficar lá embaixo esperando. Até 2h30, você que sabe, se você quiser sair. E ele mandou perguntar o pagamento. Vai ser no débito.
The owner of the apartment finally came. He's the one in the turquoise shirt. They tried to fix the AC but was unsuccessful and left all the parts on the floor, saying that they would return. But guess what? They never returned, so I was still left with the fan, which was okay. But overall, again, this was all bad business. So I'm pretty sure that whoever rented this apartment before me or after me experienced this same exact problem. But this problem is no longer my problem because I'm out. Now I am back at the Salvador Bahia airport on to the next new destination in which you will see very soon. And this city had planned to go to after Maceió, but since I do not know when I'm going to come back to Brazil again, I was like, you know what? Let me go to Salvador Bahia one more time, just for a short period, which was 5 days. And very soon you will see the new city in which I will reveal very soon. But if there is a delay in developing the video, it's because I'm having so much fun and I'm moving around in this new city. So just stay tuned.